You need to purchase sanitary products or reusable menstrual products, and the pain medication that often comes along with having your period. And that's a real cost that you have to bear every month. It's a cost you can't avoid. And it's having a real impact on people, on girls worldwide and in Australia too. In our research, we found 500 million women worldwide. That's 1 in 4 menstruating women are finding it more and more difficult to access what they need. And when we think about period poverty, we just don't think about access to the products, but also access to the pain medication, to the privacy, and to the sanitary conditions that would allow you to change yourself safely and be healthy.
And Australia is a privileged country, but what research did you find about that here in Australia?
Definitely the cost of living is starting to have an impact. We, in our research, found that, especially for young women, they are finding the cost not just of the products but of the pain medication that they often are required to use each month. And that was made worse for those people who lived in particularly remote areas, and for disabled women who were often on fixed incomes. The cost was really having an impact on their capacity to get what they needed every month.
And the prices seen in some of those regional and remote areas, just obscene.
Yeah, some of them were really exorbitant, especially in remote Aboriginal communities where there were, reports of costs of like $25 and, just unbelievable costs that you would have to bear each month. And it's hard to imagine how anyone would be able to do that.
So as the cost of living crisis gets worse, how are women and girls dealing with this and this cost that they have to bear once a month, as you say?
Yeah, so what they told us in the research is what they're doing is buying cheaper products, or they are changing less frequently, which has health implications. So one of the things that people do is they have to make decisions about where they spend their money in when things are difficult. And so this is definitely an area where people are scrimping and finding it difficult. It's also an issue that has stigma attached to it. So it's not something people necessarily talk freely about or to each other about. And so there's kind of a shame attached to it, which is unnecessary.
And I mean, this shame flows on. The research also looked at education, and for some girls this is having an effect on their education.
Definitely taking them out of school or study, out of work and out of public places when they're menstruating for fear of leakage and the shame that follows from that. Definitely is having this very real world impact in 2023 when you think that this might be an issue that we would have long overcome.
Now, for state schools in Australia, these products are to be offered free. I'd get your thoughts on whether that is rolling out and that access has been granted, but also where else are women and girls able to access these products for free?
Yeah, so definitely in schools, and I think the research will show that has been a great addition, though for a lot of people it's not available. It's not in the bathroom. You have to go to the office or find a nurse or go to the first aid area. So we have made the access available, but it's not entirely user-friendly yet, and there are some other interventions, and definitely, not government organisations that produce and provide. Share the Dignity is one that's very famous for providing free products to people in need. And the Victorian government has recently announced that it will release sanitary products in 700 public places, in places like libraries, courts, public hospitals and train stations. And we're watching really closely how they do that, because that might have implications for what we might be able to do in other places around Australia too.